And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Corner. Notice it's Lou and I. Big shout out to our fellow colleagues, Paul and Alicia. And we're tapping into something very, very special, as always. And we're continuing this conversation basically about universal laws. And we're tapping into one of the very important ones that a lot of people are uncomfortable to talk about. And we know that this will give you some insight, maybe some motivation or inspiration in some way, but an understanding, right? The more you understand this type of knowledge, you can apply it and shift things in your life. So without further to do, wow, you ready to have some fun, Lou?
Absolutely. I'm always up for fun.
Good, good, good. Um, this is so interesting because I forgot to mention something. Just slipped my mind. You never know what's going to happen. So anyway, let me, Lou, I'll let you go first. Let's pass it on to Lou. Let's shift things a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jamel. And a big shout out to our colleagues, Alicia and Paul, who are traveling this weekend and just helping, spread the word and helping people improve the quality of their life. So, hello, everyone. My name is Lou Perica. I am the founder of Prosperous Results. I am a speaker and a success mindset mentor. And I work with growth minded women who feel like there's just more for them, more success, more fulfillment, more alignment in their life. But sometimes something isn't just fully clicking. And a lot of times when I speak to women, they're doing the right things, if you will, on the outside, but they're not seeing the results they want. And that can leave you feeling frustrated and sometimes very confused because you think you're doing all the right things. And what I help them do is understand what's actually driving their results, how their thoughts, their feelings, their interpretations, and patterns are influencing everything. And once they see that, things start to shift in a real, lasting way. So today we are continuing, as Jamel mentioned, we're continuing with the universal laws. And today we're speaking about the law of compensation and the law of action. Jamel mentioned that sometimes, like the law of compensation, maybe people don't want to address. I didn't even know about it. But once I started to learn about these laws, this is why I'm so excited about we're excited about bringing them to you is because they're absolute, they're unchanging. And whether you're aware of them or not, we're all operating within them every day. So once we start to understand how they actually work, you start to see your results differently. And more importantly, when you realize that you have more influence on your reality than you may have thought, you start to really feel the power that has been given to you as a gift. So I'm excited to cover this today with my colleague Jamel. And Jamel, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you, Lou. I can tell you're excited. I love it. You dive right in. My name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified mindset success coach slash business consultant, mentored and trained by the legend Bob Proctor as my colleague as well, and founder of Believe in the Unseen Consulting. I'm in the Maryland area, and it's all about, that dream, that wish, or whatever it is that you want to achieve, knowing that it's readily available for you and it's achievable. And I help hardworking but unfulfilled professionals who know they are capable of more, yet feel stuck in a cycle of effort without progress, lacking clarity, direction, and the subconscious programming needed to create the income, which we're talking about today, freedoms, and the life they truly desire. So I'm very excited to tap into what we're sharing today because this topic, it's uncomfortable for many people, right, Lou? And you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable in order to achieve any type of growth in your life. And I know that's scary for a lot of people. It was scary for both of us, doing things we never done before, but we know it was a step required towards the higher version that we wanted to become. So let's dive in. We titled this, well, on my end, for those that are on my platform, we're all over the place. We're on different, platforms for you to view Coach's Corner. So, do you want more money? That's a very powerful question, isn't it? I don't know how many people say no. But if you do, you that might be your paradigm where you're limiting self-speaking. And before I begin here, feel free to engage. Feel free to comment, live. We're human beings. I know we got the retro background going on. I think it's so cool because it reminds me of like some 80s stuff. So it's kind of cool. I see a lot of people jumping in here live. Hello to everybody. Hi, Marley. Hello. And, so don't be afraid to ask any questions or anything while we're talking about this, because it really is to get a better understanding. So do you want more money? Let's talk about the law of compensation. Wow. Heavy one. We can do the whole call on this. And it's very interesting. I was helping one of my clients with a lesson called Let's Talk About Money. And people have what's called mental conditioning, right? Or past beliefs about money. Money doesn't grow in trees. Wealthy people are all mean, or they take from others. There's so many of them, right? And what happens, there's like a negative connotation or deep-seated belief that money's a bad thing or not important, right? And it's passed down through generations. And when you really think about that, you're kind of putting off something that I wouldn't say need, but in order to, I don't know, be more, do more, have more, and also have the life that you want, money is a big part of it. So you're putting off something, even on a subconscious level, based on your past thinking and your parents or guardians and your great-grandparents. So it's like layers of environmental conditioning and genetic conditioning as well about your beliefs about money. And what's really scary, a lot of people want more of money, but they're putting it away based on their belief system and what they feel to be true. And there's a lot of false beliefs that I come across in my experience. A lot of people believe these beliefs are true, and it's false, and it holds them back from basically more money, a different lifestyle, right? And this was me too. We, Coach's Corner, we're very vulnerable, right? I grew up in a, kind of lower income family. I wouldn't mid, lower, but, and it progressed. It got better throughout the years, but it was interesting. The things that I saw growing up, it shaped my beliefs about money. There's no way I can earn that. And there's no way I can have that. If I have that car, they might think that. If I have that house, they might think that. I was letting all these limiting things control my own growth and who I thought I could be in relation to money. I know that's a long intro, but I wanted to phrase it right, because knowing what the law of compensation, you got to kind of know the preface of it, right? I'll pass it to Lou. I know she has something to say.
Yeah. Thank you. So yes, the law of compensation is based on that we're always compensated on the value we provide. and how we show up while providing it. So Jamel mentioned, money, and money is important. But money, the physical part of money is the outcome. It's the effect. Last week we talked, I think it was last week, we discussed the law of cause and effect. So the physical money, your compensation, is the outcome of the energy that you are providing. So Bob, our mentor, Bob, described it as this in three parts. Number one, a need for what you do. So the service you're providing, do people actually need it? Yes or no? Right? Most likely, yes. Number two is your ability to do it. And number three is the difficulty in replacing you. So number one, the need for what you do, again, most likely there's a need for whatever it is that you're doing. And number three, the difficulty in replacing you. Well, no one is irreplaceable. It might be difficult to replace someone, but no one is irreplaceable. So the only thing that we really have control over, if you will, is our ability to do it. And speaking about money, again, most of us are very familiar with the physical money, coins or dollars or whatnot. But there's another thing called psychic money. And most never have heard of it. I know I never heard of it until I started to study. And what psychic money is our thoughts. It's our emotions. It's how we're showing up. So our thoughts, are we investing our psychic money in thoughts of good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity? Are we leaving others with the impression of increase? Because this is what we've been talking about for the past few weeks, actually, since we started Coach's Corner. It all starts up here. So you have psychic money. What are you investing that into? Because it's not just what you do, it's the energy and the intention and the consistency behind it. Because we all know two people can do the same jobs and get very different results. So compensation, we think of it as a paycheck, as income, but it may not always be immediate, but it is always in motion. So what you're giving, what you're thinking, and what you are contributing is building something, whether you see it yet or not, but it's always in motion. Jamel?
I like that. Always in motion.
Always in motion.
I like that. Just like spirit, just like energy, right? And money is energy as well. Money allows you to do good beyond your own presence. So money is like an amplifier. And I wish I knew this a long time ago, because I had like these negative things about money. You must be willing to give and graciously receive. And this is so good. Like when I was thinking about money amplifying who you are, if you're a good person, it'll just extend that goodness from you across, the universe. Actually, it doesn't stop. Now, what it does, it allows you to experience different things in life, but also to do more, to be more, have a bigger impact. And I like this here. Money is important as the food and the clothes it buys, the shelter it affords, the education it provides, the doctor's bills it pays, transportation, insurance, etc. Like money is important. And like I was talking about at the beginning, is our limiting selves try to say, oh, I'm good where I am. I don't need any more. And don't get caught in that trap, because it's like a mental construct, and abundance is our birthright, right? So if you desire more money, more impact, let go of those limiting beliefs. Nothing will take the place of money in the area in which it works. So think about that. If you're paying, I don't know, going to a restaurant wherever you live, I know gas prices are crazy. We're not even talking about that. But, whatever it is that you're paying for, nothing will take the place of money in which it works. And I like, Lou brought up the law of compensation, right? The demand for what you do. What are you doing? Right? What industry are you in? Usually that's not if there's any type of demand, right? You wouldn't be doing if there wasn't a demand for it, basically, right? Your ability to do it, you definitely want to focus on that. You really do, because when you become better at whatever it is that you're doing, increasing your value, increasing your service, like Lou mentioned, we talked about the law of cause and effect, and your ability to do anything as you increase. How can I provide better service for more people, for someone else? You're not only you're doing things in multi layers there. You're leaving everyone with the impression of increase, which is huge. Your vibration is high, right? So you're shifting your vibration, and you're the cause, and the money is the effect. Bob always said you need to add more wood to that fireplace, or to the stove, the old school stoves, to get more heat. You don't just get heat without adding something to it. Mm-hmm. So as you increase your ability, or your effectiveness, or your service, or your products, or whatever, you're actually providing more for others to grow. And it's a cyclical thing. And the difficulty it is to replace you, which is kind of like a connection to your ability. It's like a reflection, really, because as you increase your value, obviously it'll be difficult to replace you, right? And I don't want to misquote that quote, but it's so funny, where, hello, Amelia, hi, hello everybody, good to see everybody here. Najee, awesome. So that quote, put your hand in a bucket of water and you pull it out, and how much would be missed? Something like that, right? So just imagine putting your hand in water and pulling it out. The water forms right back to whatever shape it was in that bucket. Will you be missed? Right? I'm just misquoting that really bad, but it gives you an idea, right? So what impact are you leaving? What value are you providing? What is your ability to do that thing, right? And this is connected to the law of compensation. Lou?
Yeah. So I wanted to just, we talk about the law of, I think when we think of the word compensation, we equate it with money. I just wanted to give you a couple of examples. I know I've heard this, and I've probably said it in the past when I was younger, but you would hear someone say, oh, maybe somebody within their organization, maybe somebody lost their job or something, and you get stuck with adding more, right? You're taking on some of their tasks. And we would hear, I'm not being paid what I'm worth, right? Some people think they're doing so much, but they're not being paid what they're worth. But if we look really deeper into that, we ask, are they fully showing up? Are they confident in their value? And are they going beyond, or are they just getting by? Because people don't just respond to effort. They respond to perceived value. So what do you think your value is worth? I would do this little I would ask prospects or when I went with my clients and say, all right, you're looking at a board, and this board has a series of jobs, but there's the job description and the job title is not mentioned, only the salary of the compensation, if you will. And you walk in and you see a board that says whatever, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $1 million, $10 million. When you see that board, which number feels comfortable for you to apply to? It's very interesting, right? Oh, I've never been paid $100,000. I've been paid $20,000 for an example. So most likely I would apply for the $20,000 job because most likely there'll be a job description that I've done before or whatnot. So right away, when you look at this board of salaries, you have some sort of a feeling of where you might fit in. So this is what we're talking about, perceived value, but it's not just about money. So think about somebody who genuinely cares, who listens, who gives their attention to someone, and they show up fully. People are naturally drawn to them, and opportunities show up. Referrals show up. That's also compensation. So it's not just financially, but in relationships, opportunities, and resources as well. So we receive in kind what we give to the world. So it's not just our jobs, our careers, it's what we're giving to the world. And we will receive in kind, again, whether it's financially, in relationships, opportunities, and resources. So again, the law of compensation isn't just necessarily financial, but it is a law that you will be compensated in kind to what you are giving out. And so our thoughts, our energy, our thoughts, our emotions, the way we interpret and perceive things, our behavior, those are all forms of energy. And those energies are always in motion. Again, just like I had mentioned earlier, you may not see the compensation right away, whether it's financially, whether it's in a relationship, opportunities, but it is in motion. This is why we hear, don't give up, don't stop, don't quit your dream, because by law, this is why I love knowing and understanding the laws, because it takes the pressure off of yourself. If you're following, understanding, showing up, using your psychic income, your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior, those energies, if you know, then stick with it. Just stick with it. But like Jamel says, believe in the unseen, because everything operates by law. So this is, again, that's why I just love the laws. Jamel.
And the laws love you as well, Lou. You know,
Thank you.
they do. This is really to get an understanding of, these laws that we're a part of, right? We can walk around blindly to them. You can not even understand them or forget them, but they're still operating. Every moment they're working for you, not against you. And I like how Lou mentioned that, because our income, everything we created in our life, you have to take responsibility for that, is we think it's part of our self-image, right? This is where self-image comes in. Who am I? What version am I, putting out there right now? Like, who do I believe myself to be? This is so good. And a good way to see yourself objectively, right? I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who you think I am.
No, I am who I think you think I am.
Thank you, Lou.
It's a tongue twister.
It is. And Lou knew exactly where I was going,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's important. And this way you allow yourself, how do I see myself? Right? That's such a powerful thing. So I remember what's really important about money, and this is a big one. A lot of people might get sensitive about this one, but my client and I were talking about this, and this is really deep. It jumped out at me. He says the reason there are so many poor old people is because there's a lot of poor young people who grow old and never learn the truth about money. That was huge. So all that is like past generational conditioning about money. I'm so glad because I think 1, 2, 3, 4 of my clients are breaking generational conditioning about money. That deserves an applause. That deserves an applause. I'm so happy because I know what that does, right? If what you don't change in yourself, you pass on to your children, and including money, especially money, right? So it's so important because to break that chain of thought, that unworthiness or limiting beliefs about what you want to have in your life, that's massive, right? So you must make a decision that you're going to earn a lot of money. The key word is decision. We should do I'm doing a whole call on that. We'll mention why not? I'm doing a 5-day event next week. And on the 4th day, we're talking about decision, the power of decision. And it's very misunderstood. So you must make a decision if you want more income, right? And that's also, you make the decision beyond your limiting beliefs or your mistaken identity, if you will. And our rewards will always be in exact proportion to our service, is basically what I was mentioning. So if you don't like your income, you must devise ways and means of increasing your service, right? And all that is pretty much every other law we talked about, cause and effect. It's even connected to law of polarity. All the laws are connected in some way, right? There's an opposite version of you with the income that you desire. Desire is unexpressed spirit. It's unexpressed potential. So if you desire it, it's there. But guess what? We let our past thinking hold us back over and over and over. Even watching this could be uncomfortable for some people talking about money, right? And I love this. It's very simple, but there's 3 categories of wealth, right? So A is what you know you can earn, right? B is what you think you can earn. And C is what you want to earn. And obviously, well, not obvious for many, you want to focus on C. What do you really want to earn? And this is where you get clarity with money, right? And what you think you can earn is based on limiting thinking. That's based on where you are. But what do you really want to earn? And that's uncomfortable for a lot of people because it requires, letting go of limits, letting go of these deep-seated beliefs that's been holding you back, right? So I really wanted to express a couple of those things. And thanks for saving me there on that quote there, Lou.
Well, you were brave just to bring it up because you do have to think about what you're just like, okay, I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. It took me
Right.
a while. It took me a while for that one.
Spot on. You got it.
Yeah. And not only just to say it, but to fully understand it. So first I had to learn, okay, to say it in the correct order, then to break it down to have an understanding of what it actually means. Right. So yeah, so kudos to you for just attempting that.
Thank you. I got it right one time, no, two times on camera. So
There you go. So as we're, let's try to get into the law of action. I want to just go back to the law of compensation for number one, a need for what we do. Number two, our ability to do it. And number three, the difficulty in replacing us. So we've already mentioned that number one and three is really not in our control, but number two is, right? Like our ability to do it. So that brings us into the law of action, because nothing moves until we do. And the law of action is the force behind any progress and change. So there's an action, and then there's always a reaction, right? So it's again cause and effect. There is the cause, the action, there is the effect, the reaction. And the law of vibration, we discussed this, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, sets up the emotion, the feeling in the body for the body to take action. This is why we talked about, Jamel just mentioned the 3 levels of income. And what that refers to is the ABC goals. And if you were with us from the beginning, the A goal is what you know you can do. The B type goal is something you think you can do if you have the right strategy and systems in place, maybe work a little harder. And the C type goal is something that kind of excites and scares you at the same time. But it's something you really, really want. And this is why, if it is a higher income, if we're going to be talking about money, if it's higher compensation, do you really, really, really want that? And are you willing to do what it takes in order to receive that compensation? But it's not just intention. It's not just visualizing. It's not just planning and preparing. Are those important? Absolutely. But at some point, action has to happen. And action is what brings all of the visualizing, the affirmation, the planning, the preparing, the thoughts all together. Again, all those things are your psychic income, your thoughts, your visualization, the planning. That's all energy in motion. And when you get emotionally connected to those thoughts, those images, those dreams, this is when you set up a vibration in the body to take action. Because we all know really what to do for the most part, but it's just we're not doing it. And it's not because you're lazy, but it's because something internally is holding you back. This is why everything comes from the inside first. And how many times you should make the call. We know we should, post content on social media, start that thing, whatever that thing may be, but we hesitate. And it's the thought behind that hesitation. What if it doesn't work? What will people think? What if I fail? What if I'm laughed at? All of those thoughts stop the action. So, this is why the law of action is necessary. We talk a lot about thoughts and emotions, and action is very important, but it is downstream. So it does start with the thoughts. It does start with your interpretation of the thought, your belief in the thought, how you feel about the thought, and then how you behave or the action you take. So the action, if you will, is like downstream. And then the outcome, the result, the consequence, the effect is from that sequence. So, but if we just do the action, it's somewhat you can't, because in order to do an action, you have to actually think about it first. You may not be emotionally connected to the action, but you do have to think about it first, right? So focus on your thoughts, your plans, your visualization, all of those things, and then put them into motion through action, because it is a sequence. And if you take everything out of sequence, a lot of times you may see a result, but over the long period, over your lifetime, that is the sequence. And if we do things out of sequence, it can feel forced. It can feel like exhaustion, burnout. But just know that the action part is actually taking those thoughts and those emotions and that dream, and it's the force behind it. It's setting the body up in a vibration to take that idea, that invisible idea, that non-physical idea that only you can see, no one else can see it, and taking that non-physical idea and bringing it into physical form. We'll be getting into this law next week with the perpetual transmutation of energy. It's taking this unseen idea and going through the sequence and then bringing it into physical form. This is where the magic is. This is why the universal laws are amazing, because you understand it's a sequence. You're not rolling the dice, hoping and wishing and just taking a shot. It's a sequence that's all been set up by the creator, and we are creators. We are co-creating with this energy. But when you understand it, it just makes life easier, better, richer, more fulfilling, because you understand the part, your role in this co-creation of your own reality.
I love it, Lou. I love it.
Holy cow.
That's so well said. I get very excited hearing that when you express that.
Yeah.
It's true. And I wanted to mention this because this is connected to the law of compensation, the law of action. It all starts with a decision. So indecision is a habit, right? Indecision is a habit that usually begins in youth, when you're young. And this habit, a lot of people carry it right into adulthood. Indecision, going back and forth. Should I do it? Nah, not do it. Do I want to? Nah, I don't want to. You're going back and forth with all these different things in your life. And we get used to having indecision. Decide what you want, especially with the money you want in your life. I remember, there's 3 different things you should decide. What do you want for your annual income? What do you want in a savings or a retirement or investment account? I said 3 there. So basically, what do you want for your annual income? What do you want in a savings or investment account? And what do you want for retirement, whether you retire or not? So those are three things to really, really think about money-wise. And guess what? Most don't decide on that ever. Oh, I'll just keep putting money away. Having clarity. Order of the mind is heaven's first law. Order of the mind, knowing exactly what you're creating in your life. And I was thinking about action. When you say that word, people think, I'm going to get up and run and work hard and hustle and do more than the next person. No, that's a competitive mindset. You want to create. Lou said, we are creators put here to create. You're creating your own life, whether you know it or not, or agree or not. So action is effortless. It's effortless. Like it's expression. I say something funny or something funny happens on camera, you'll naturally smile. It's effortless. You know, even sometimes if you don't fertilize your yard, you'll have dandelions growing. It's effortless. They just grow, and the little feathered leaves, seeds, they just effortlessly blow in the wind. Dust and feathers abide by law. Everything in this universe abides by law. And you know what's interesting about action? Action is just expressed, right? So I have my goal card in my pocket everywhere I go. Every time you saw Coach's Corner, there you go, Lou. Look at that. I go to sleep with it. I carry it with everywhere I go. This shows me in my mind, consciously and subconsciously, of course, where I'm going in my life, what I'm creating. Guess what happens? Every time I read this, I connect with that energy. I have focus, and I'm impressing my subconscious mind. So when you have the idea here in your subconscious mind, right? You have the vision here. You get emotionally involved with it. What is emotion? Energy in motion, right? So your body is vibrating, law of vibration. It's sending out energy. As you send out, you shall receive. So what happens, the body has to express what's impressed in the subconscious. So you start taking certain actions in a certain way. Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles. So acting in a certain way, we covered that whole book, didn't we, Lou? In great detail. Watch the replays if you missed them. Basically acting in a certain way. There's action. Your body is moving, right? Obviously, we're here in Coach's Corner. We're expressing this. That's an action. Guess what's happened? There's a reaction, also known as the famous law of attraction. So you're attracting what you desire through action. Like Lou mentioned, you can't just visualize and wish and hope things change. You have to take an action towards it. Guess what a great affirmation I say every day? I act to receive. So I just act to receive. Isn't that beautiful? I just act because I know the law and it abides. I know this. And I just don't preach it or say it. I experience it. So action, reaction. As you move towards it, it's coming towards you. And acting in a certain way is having the vision, knowing your purpose, and having gratitude and faith. That's acting in a certain way. And when you're doing that, you're not just taking a half-hearted action. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, man, I got to do this today. That's limited, right? You're out of harmony. You're not in harmony, right? So when you're in the spirit of it, oh God, I'm gonna give myself applause after this. When you're in the spirit of it, you're acting in a certain way. And as you move towards it, whatever it is, whatever you want, whether it's money or whatever, it's coming towards you. And in truth, it's already here. You just haven't matched the frequency of it or acknowledged the awareness of it. So I know that was a lot, but indecision, it all starts with decision. and getting very clear on what you want. That's where it starts. Let go of all this trash, this limiting nonsense, because it'll hold you back forever.
It's
Till you
nonsense.
let that stuff go. Who do you want to be? What do you want? And you can have it.
Oh my.
I
I
forgot.
got all kinds of notes here.
I saw you writing away there.
Yeah, because you started off with indecision, and indecision being a habit. And it is. Jamel's absolutely right. And indecision in itself is a decision. It's a pattern. And I was with someone a couple of weeks ago, and we were ordering lunch. Just lunch. I can't make up my mind. I just cannot make a decision. She said this a couple of times. Now you're with me. Okay. She's with me. She knows I have to say something. So I said, you need to be mindful of the words you use, yada, yada. Because what's happening is when we do this, and we all do it, and I used to do it a lot, but I'm more mindful. Does it come up every now and then? Sometimes, but I'm definitely more mindful of the words I use. But when we say I can't make a decision, this just reinforces the pattern. This becomes part of your energetic signature. So having a goal, a C-type goal, the importance behind that is because the C-type goal is an upgraded version of you, a part of you that you're not familiar with. And your goal becomes your identity. You live from your goal. So it's not just the hoping, the wishing, the wanting, and even the actions, because they all need to be aligned with the state of being, that new energetic signature. I'm going to give you this little crazy example that I'm reading this book. I've got a few books going on, but Bob had always mentioned The Art of Acting by Stella Adler. I'm sure you've heard of this, Jamel, Bob mentioning it. Anyways, it's a slow read. It's a tough read in the sense that a lot of it I don't really care about. But this was very interesting. In the cover of the book, I don't know, maybe I mentioned this last week. The cover of the book, Stella Adler's like this, right? So I was eating dinner. And now that I'm saying, and I think I did say this before, but anyways, I always, pretty much always, had 2 servings at dinner. I don't even know if I wanted the second serving, but I would have it out of habit. So one day I was reading Stella Adler's book, and I was thinking about her, and I was thinking about the cover of that book, the way she's looking. And I thought to myself while I was eating dinner, I wonder how Stella Adler would eat. Because in the book, she says how the actor has to get into character. It's very, very detailed. So I was thinking about what she was telling the actors. So while I was eating dinner, I was thinking, how would Stella Adler eat? And how would she hold her fork? How would she sit? How would she eat? How does she place her fork? Does she sit up straight? Does she lean forward? Does she sit back? Does she cross her ankles? I was thinking of all these details, and I ate my dinner in character of Stella Adler. And what that did for me was made me see how I typically eat, because I was very conscious of how I was eating I was actually chewing my food. Now, typically, this is me. I just shovel the food down. And I was very aware. I had a can of seltzer water, flavored seltzer water. I go, she would never drink from a can. I put it in a lovely glass. And as I drank it, I placed it was amazing. But what that whole exercise did for me was made me aware of how I typically eat. Now, this was about maybe 3 weeks ago. I have yet to have a second serving because every time, not every time, I have to sometimes my old patterns because I've been doing the way I eat for decades. My pattern kicks in. I start shoveling the food, and then I remember I have to use my conscious thinking mind. Oh, wait a minute, slow down and be mindful. So, this is why when we're doing our everyday actions, the patterns are so strong. You have to be mindful. You have to use your conscious mind to say, whoa, pause, time out, and shift that energetic signature because that energetic signature is so deeply ingrained from decades of reliving the same patterns over and over. So we must change the state of being. So this is why when you have a goal, whatever that C-type goal is, you start living from that goal. So now I've done the food, and what's funny is I've only did dinner, and I notice when I'm eating breakfast, I'm eating fast. So I have to be mindful to change my eating patterns at breakfast, if I eat lunch, and at dinner. But the beauty of it is because I've been doing this now for 3 weeks or give or take, it's now becoming slowly a pattern. Was it uncomfortable in the beginning? Yes. Is it getting more comfortable? Yes. Is it fully ingrained? Not just yet. But this is how we shift our state of being. So imagine if you lived like this with most of your activities all day long. Well, actually, it would be all doing whatever activities from that state of being, that identity. Your goal is your identity. How would I think? How would I dress? How would I walk? How would I talk? How do I hold my hand? All of these things, we are creating this next version, this next level. We're actually peeling away our truth because we've been living an identity that's been handed down to us and mostly shaped and created by our environment. We didn't have too much say in it. Some of it, but the overall is mostly from our environment. So the law of action is when you are taking action, the action comes from the state of being of your goal. Your goal becomes your identity. And this is what Jamil says, the action becomes effortless because being you right now is effortless. You don't have to think about who you are and how you show up. It's just natural. It's effortless. And like Jamel was saying, well, like happiness is effortless. We're all trying to be happy, but happiness is our natural state. It's the struggle, the sadness, depression, all of that, that is effort. That's effort. So when you're in your state of being, of your goal already achieved, and you live from that state, you shift your energetic signature and everything will start to shift for you. Blah. Jamel.
Wow, Lou, this is Excellent. This is so good.
So good.
It's interesting. I take notes in my head, but you were going, first of all, kudos to you for eating,
Isn't it
in
funny?
a different version of you, right? That is so powerful. And that's huge. I haven't heard someone do that in a long time.
Well,
So
think
that's,
about it, right? If people learned that, just say for your eating habits, but we're all trying to diet, we're all trying to take a pill and do this or exercise harder. But if you just thought about, and I was there's a show on Netflix, Mind Your Manners. I said, I don't know if I was ever taught properly how to eat. When I was a kid, we just shoveled the food because we wanted to go out and play, right? So we just ate so we could be finished and go out and play. So that pattern stayed with me. And I thought, geez, I didn't have a role model of how to eat. That was just one small example on all the things that we learn as we grow up. So if we learned how to eat correctly or properly or a better way, that would be amazing. So many people would get healthier just from that alone, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. And, that's a habit, right? We talked about the power of habits. And, these things kind of happen by accident, right? Or unaware of these things that shape everything. And even our way of thinking can be habits as well. And I always love that people form habits and habits form futures.
Mm,
Habits form futures. If you don't deliberately create good ones, you unconsciously create bad ones. Amazing. So you want to create good habits towards the version of you with whatever goal that you want. That's why a goal is important. And choosing a goal or compensation, um, obviously compensation is part of a goal. Let's go back to decision. Um, the word decision comes from the Latin roots de, right? Meaning from, and kadir, meaning to cut. Therefore, a decision means cutting from any other possibility,
mm, mhm.
any other possibility. So you're cutting from, and it's related to what Lou is sharing here, because when you're becoming someone else with the goal achieved, you're cutting from your old self. You're shedding that self. You're divorcing that self. You're killing your past self to become this higher version. You're not doing nonsense with these bad habits all the time, wasting time, social media, or binge watching all this stuff, or doing things that don't fulfill you. That was a
Mhm.
big one for me for many years. Being unfulfilled for many years. I'm fulfilled doing this, by the way, if you couldn't tell.
Mhm.
I made that shift. Thank God, right? So a true decision means you are committed to achieving a result and then cutting yourself off from any other possibility, right? I remember the story about you basically burning the bridge. You're not going back to wherever you crossed from. You're not going back. There's no more bridge. You're here now. And what people do, they go over the bridge and they go back. Oh, this is better here. I'll go over the bridge and go back. There's no more bridge. Stop playing around with your life. We're here for a limited time. So, decision, it's not the job. It's the person. It's not your present circumstance, which count, but the circumstances you make up your mind to achieve that are important. What are you making up in your mind to achieve? And also, the only limit on your income or whatever it is you want is you. I know it's tough to hear that. The only limit is you. And we are unlimited beings. Always. We're unlimited when we wake up, when we go to sleep, and it's our own thinking that limits us. So this has been an amazing Coach's Corner. Lou, you have anything going on this month or next month that you want to share?
I am working on my program. I have been focused. That's why I have glasses on today, because I've been on the computer and my eyes are bugging me. So I've been working on my program, and I'm very excited. I still have a little ways to go, but I'm very excited about it.
Then you're acting in a certain way, right?
Acting in a certain. So I wanted to mention, you had stated your affirmation, and one of the affirmations that I love, and you can put whatever in it, but I like saying I am success in motion, or I am prosperity in motion. Right? That's a great little affirmation. But I just wanted to say too, by taking action, many of us have put things off, and then we finally did it, whatever that it was. And the moment we started to move, things started to shift, momentum built, ideas came, and the best part is confidence increases. So when you take action, notice how your confidence increases. And this can be part of indecision, right? Because you're not confident in fulfilling that decision. There's something that's holding you back. And again, I mentioned it earlier, whether it's the thought of failure, something going wrong, what will people think, et cetera, et cetera. Take the action, take the right action that you feel at that moment. You will feel it inside, because spirit, as Jamel often mentions, spirit is guiding you. It's pushing you towards, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. But the pattern says, no, I don't want to do it. Right? So listen to your emotions, because they are a guidance system. But just notice the difference between the emotions of a paradigm and the emotions of spirit. Because spirit is for growth. Spirit is for expressing and expanding itself in a greater way. So that's how I like to tell the difference between my paradigm and spirit. But I thoroughly enjoyed this discussion once again. And next week, as we wrap up, we will be talking about, I think I mentioned, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy and the law of gender. So I'm looking forward to that. And Jamel, I think you have something coming up that's exciting.
Yes, I do. Thanks, Lou.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to mention that. Before I do, just to piggyback, if this, motivated you in any way or inspired you, or you learned something and you really want to apply what we shared today, just reach out to us. Our call links in the description of whatever platform you're watching us on. Just set up a call with us and you can see if what we do can help you. All right. Because it's just a small part learning about it and understanding, but living it and changing your results is the goal we both desire for you. Okay. So make sure you reach out to us. And
I just want to interrupt, just as you're saying that, Jamel. The reason why coaching and mentorship is so important is because when we try to do things on our own, YouTube videos and free this and free that, we're still working with the same mind, the same thinking, the same patterns that got us to where we are today. So a mentor or a coach sees beyond your limiting beliefs. And we all have them. Even we have coaches, we have mentors, because we need someone to help us, guide us out of our own stinking thinking, if you will. So that's why mentorship and coaching is so important in your new journey, that whatever it is that you choose to experience. I just wanted to throw that in. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Jamel.
it's much needed. You know,
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. It's much needed. So, and you know, even if you don't see the call links, just message us without whatever platform you're watching this on. All right. So, and I get to announce this starting tomorrow. I have a 5-day live challenge. It's called Create Your Own Reality. And we were just talking about action, the law of action. Take action to reach out to one of us. Take action to use your phone and just use your little camera lens. And there's a QR code right there to the link of the 5-day create your own reality event that I'm really excited about. You know, tomorrow is day one. We're having a really powerful event all week, every day. And I'm pouring a lot of energy, a lot of wisdom, a lot of material, but this is to really shift things in your life. And we talked an hour. This is just an hour of it, right? So we're gonna, you know, let this be something really powerful for you, because I want the best for every person that takes action towards their future. And this 5-day event, we're talking about a lot of different things, goals, you know, what holds you back, fear, money. We talked about money today, decision. You know, we're tapping into different things each day. And thank you for all those who registered already as well. So I can announce it here. So take a picture of that, or it's also a link in the description as well. So definitely looking forward to this. And I don't know, you might even see Lou as a special guest, maybe. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen.
That
But
would be cool.
it'll always be value, you know, for you to shift things and start living the way you really want, by design and not by your past. So anyway, anything else, Lou? We're good?
We're good.
Awesome. I'll
Have
see
a
you.
great day, everyone.
Have a great day. See you on the next Coach's Corner.